Elizondo is dropping newer and newer information as the days go on, and it's got crazy as the former Pentagon UFO hunter Elizondo now has told people that he personally held materials recovered from the 1947 Roswell incident, stating that there were definitely 2 crashes, not 1, and the material requires a degree of tech to manufacture that does not exist in the time that it was found, at least with humans. This is unsettling, unnerving, and just absolutely balmy. Like, this guy is just dropping information bombs left, right, and center. So we're going to take a look at this interview today to see what we make of it.
What happened that day, and what is left? How much of this material? Were there bodies?
Yeah.
Tell me what happened that day.
So as the report goes, there was actually two incidents. There was 2 crashes, not 1. And one was partially recovered, and there were biological specimens inside.
Now, this has also been confirmed. I made a video about it a couple of days ago, but I can't remember the photographer's name. It escapes me. But a photographer from the US Army or the US military went in to photograph the bodies, right? And he described them in great detail, and basically his photographs were then confiscated and he was told to never repeat what he had seen. But yeah, he also backed up this claim that there were bodies recovered. They were in like these tents. It was tarped. It was unnerving and unsettling to think about.
Allegedly 4, and they were very quickly whisked away, taken to the military base to lock them down. They didn't want the locals touching them or getting a hold of them. And of course, we know what happened after that, which was this campaign to say, oh, no, these are Mylar balloons and stuff like that. No, these were crash test dummies that came down. Well, that's interesting because we weren't using dummies back then for some of these tests. We weren't using dummies until later. So
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? I mean, I always found the Roswell incident really weird because obviously they would... The whole Roswell incident happened. People and locals saw it, right? They saw these crashed craft, whatever. And then the government confirmed that it was definitely aliens. And there are newspaper clippings of interviews with US officials who have said, yeah, this is aliens, this is UFOs. 24 hours later, they completely refuted that, said that was never the case. And in fact, and then they run with this same story that it was like balloons and craft and all the rest of it, man-made stuff. And these dummies. So it's always really been weird because obviously they confirmed it to begin with, and then they actually probably realized the gravity of what they actually disclosed, and they were like, shit, we better take that back.
These specimens were looked at. I don't know where they went after that, and where the material went after that. The trail gets kind of cold. Turns out later that there was another U.S. military installation, Wright-Patterson in Ohio, that also was involved in looking at material of crashed unknown vehicles of unknown origin. And there's even some very interesting documentation out there if you know where to find it. Again, that's completely unclassified. Anybody can look at it. There's a site called the Black Vault. The gentleman who runs that has a huge library of Freedom of Information Act releases that the U.S. government, the CIA, the FBI.
The Black Vault is a very good website to go and use, by the way. If you are interested in finding a topic around something specific, 9 times out of 10, you'll find what you're looking for on the Black Vault.
The NSA, the Department of Defense, the DIA have all released over the years. And there's a treasure trove of these documents. And when you start reading these documents and realizing these are official government documents to the director of the FBI, from the director of the FBI to the director of the CIA, the National Security Council,
wow.
These are real. These are legit. This is not Lou Elizondo telling you this. This is your government telling you this. And I think this is part of my
government always lies to us. So
sure. Yeah, no, touche, of course. But, a lieutenant colonel that's there in the field writing a report, they're not lying to you. A politician, maybe. A senior person that's trying to cover their butt, yeah. But, a low-level lieutenant colonel who's there, who's an MP, military police, is just writing the report to his general, they're not lying to you. That's a real report written by a real individual about a real occurrence.
So have you been allowed to see anything? I mean, I assume there's been other crashes. Have you been able to actually see this evidence with your own eyes, the actual physical evidence?
Yeah, I actually gave a briefing to a senior member of the Department of Defense in 2017, several briefings about the material that I personally have held in my hand.
Can we talk about that for a second? That is insane. This man has just said that he has personally held crashed UFO material from Roswell. Like, can we just clip that, take that for a moment? Like, that's mind-boggling.
I have held it in my hand, and so have other individuals that, and I'm not going to say who they were, that worked for very, very high-end aerospace companies, best of the best, and they're looking at this from
aerospace companies. Let's have a little think. Boeing, SpaceX, who else? Aerospace companies, people from the DoD, you know, the Air Force maybe. I'm definitely thinking along those kind of lines, you know, especially Boeing, especially SpaceX. I think these people have probably investigated these
from an engineering perspective, and they're scratching their head. They're saying, you know, I can see it, I believe it, but I can't believe this material was found back then. And under those circumstances, this material, we did not have the engineering capability. It isn't an engineered piece of material. It's layered. It was studied by NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. It's been studied by other organizations as well. You know, and of course, that's really the gold standard, isn't it? When you have material that you can analyze and you can look at that material and succinctly say, yeah, this material is very special and it requires an X degree amount of technology to manufacture or reproduce. And frankly, it did not exist at the time the material was found, at least not with us, with humans.
Can we just talk about that for a second? The fact that this man, Lou Elizondo, has just said that him, along with many other people, have not only held but examined and, you know, tried to work out what this crashed UFO material is. And they're just left scratching their heads like, oh, I've never seen anything like this and I can't believe that this kind of technology would have been found back then. When was this? 1947, right? What's that? Over 70 years ago? Yeah, about 70 odd years ago, I think. 60, 70, 70, 80, 90, 80. Almost 80 years ago. My maths is awful. Almost 80 years ago this was discovered. And then all of a sudden, boom. You know, like... That's one hell of a minefield. What do you guys think, though? Is Lou telling the truth? Do you think it was a genuine UFO? I don't think he's got any reason to lie, does he? But many people say that he has got reason to lie because he's got a book out. And the more that he comes up with these kind of crazy things, the more the book sells. So, you know, it swings in roundabouts. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, be sure to jump scare the hell out of that like button. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.